The night didn't just end at the Oscars, it transformed into something far more exclusive, far more mysterious, and way more revealing than anyone expected. As the cameras stopped flashing and the awards wrapped up, a different kind of spotlight quietly shifted to one of the most guarded locations in Hollywood. Behind closed doors at the legendary Chateau Marmont, an ultra-private gathering unfolded, where only the most powerful names in entertainment were allowed in. And right in the middle of it all, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, a couple whose every move has been dissected for months, now stepping into a room filled with icons, legends, and industry power players. But what really caught attention wasn't just their presence, it was who they connected with. Reports claim the duo didn't just attend, they fully immersed themselves in the night's energy, casually mingling with Beyoncé in a moment that instantly sent fans into a frenzy online. Think about that for a second, three of the biggest forces in music and pop culture sharing the same intimate space, no cameras, no filters, just vibes. Sources say the atmosphere was electric, almost surreal, with conversations flowing as freely as the champagne. Taylor, known for balancing her global superstardom with carefully curated appearances, appeared completely at ease, laughing, dancing, and blending into the crowd like she owned the moment. And Travis? He wasn't just tagging along, he was reportedly fully engaged, confidently navigating a room that could intimidate even seasoned celebrities. But that was only the surface of what went down that night, because as more details slowly leaked, it became clear that this wasn't just another after-party, it was a rare glimpse into a world where fame, influence, and unfiltered connections collide in ways the public rarely gets to see. But what really made the night unforgettable wasn't just who showed up, it was the energy surrounding one particular star who had everyone talking. Fresh off a major win, Michael B. Jordan became the center of attention in a way that insiders describe as almost overwhelming. The moment he stepped into the party, the vibe shifted. People gravitated toward him instantly, creating a constant buzz that echoed through every corner of the venue. Reports suggest guests were practically lining up just to get a moment with him, turning casual mingling into something closer to a full-on celebration of his achievement. And right in the midst of that excitement, Taylor Swift was spotted doing something fans love to hear, letting loose. According to sources, she wasn't hiding in VIP corners or keeping things low-key. Instead, she was out on the floor, dancing with friends, fully embracing the moment without hesitation. It's a side of her that doesn't always get captured in public appearances, making it even more intriguing. Travis Kelce, meanwhile, reportedly matched her energy, blending seamlessly into the scene as if he'd been part of Hollywood's inner circle for years. The couple's dynamic seemed effortless, natural, and completely in sync, fueling even more speculation about how serious things have become between them. But here's where it gets even more interesting. While everyone was caught up in the celebration, subtle interactions and quiet moments between these high-profile figures began sparking whispers. Fans online are already speculating about what conversations might have taken place behind those closed doors. Were new collaborations hinted at? Were alliances quietly strengthened? No one knows for sure, but the mystery only makes it more captivating. And just when it seemed like the night couldn't get any more surreal, even more unexpected details started to surface. Because while most people imagine these events as perfectly curated and controlled, the reality, according to insiders, was far more chaotic and far more fun. Comedian and actor Kumail Nanjiani later revealed a behind-the-scenes perspective that felt almost unbelievable. He described the night as a whirlwind, where exclusivity didn't necessarily mean predictability. In fact, getting into these parties wasn't always about being on the list. It was about persistence, timing, and a bit of boldness. He admitted that he and his team weren't initially invited to many of the biggest events, but somehow managed to make their way in, moving from one iconic party to another like it was some kind of high-stakes social marathon. And when they finally reached Jay-Z's legendary Gold Party, things took a turn into pure surreal territory. Imagine dancing in the same room as Jay-Z, Emma Stone, and Taylor Swift all at once, with no phones allowed, no recordings, just memories. Nanjiani described moments filled with laughter, emotion, and a sense that the night might never end. It's the kind of experience that feels almost cinematic, yet completely real for those inside. And that no-phone policy? It only adds to the intrigue. In an era where everything is documented, the idea that some of the biggest celebrities in the world were sharing completely private, unfiltered moments feels almost unreal. It's no wonder fans are obsessed with every tiny detail that manages to slip through. Because when there's no footage, no posts, no direct access, the mystery becomes even more powerful. And as stories like these continue to emerge, it paints a picture of a night that was less about appearances and more about genuine, spontaneous connections that no one saw coming. And just when you think the story ends there, it actually opens up an even bigger question about what nights like this really mean in the world of celebrity culture. These after-parties aren't just celebrations, they're where relationships are strengthened, where future projects are quietly discussed, and where the lines between different worlds start to blur. The presence of names like Timothée Chalamet, Kylie Jenner, Emma Stone, Kendall Jenner, and Hailey Bieber only adds to the sense that this wasn't just a party, it was a convergence of influence across music, film, fashion, and beyond. Meanwhile, other events happening the same night, like the Vanity Fair after-party and Elton John's viewing celebration, created a kind of parallel universe of glamour across the city. But there's something about Jay-Z and Beyoncé's gathering that stands apart. Maybe it's the secrecy, maybe it's the exclusivity, or maybe it's the fact that what happens inside stays there, leaving the rest of the world to piece together fragments of a story that feels almost too wild to be real. And at the center of it all, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce continue to captivate attention, not just because of who they are individually, but because of how they move together in spaces like this. Every appearance, every interaction adds another layer to their story, keeping fans guessing what comes next. Because if one night at an Oscars after-party can spark this much intrigue, imagine what's still hidden beneath the surface.